So I was scrolling through Reddit and I stumbled upon this Invader's Guide to Thunderstone. I watched a little bit of it, and honestly, I have decided that I have to watch it on the live stream with you guys. So yeah, let's do it.
Well, hello there, Invader.
Yeah,
I sense you've got something you've been meaning to get off your chest.
Oh?
A dirty secret that's been eating you alive.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what's that in your pocket? He got a tartar tongue in his pocket. Oh,
Mexican.
is that right? You've been playing with the tarnished tongue, boy? I'm just playing. Come here, let me tell you a story about when I was a young manst. They used to call me Mean Manst. And I had meaner friends.
Bad red woman. Okay.
We'd buff up like we were gonna fight a boss. But we weren't going through no fog wall. I was using that there taunter tongue to lure invaders into my world. When an invader showed up, I'd say, "Bad red woman, it's dinner time." She'd turn to me and say, "I'm hungry, man, so let's eat." We were gankers. And
Insane outplay on AFK Red Bad Man, not gonna lie.
we showed no mercy. Well, I knew I must be some kind of PvP god. So I ran up the hill to the Colosseum.
I wonder if those are like legitimate thoughts of like cheaters that spend 10 hours per day ganking on Red Main Castle or anywhere else, and essentially then they are like, yeah, I am pretty good at this game.
To try my luck. But when I got there, the door wouldn't open. In my desperation, I fell to my knees and prayed to Queen Marika. "Oh, Mother, may I please be a duelist?"
Man, I am invested in the story, not gonna lie.
The goddess heard my cries, and she opened the door. I just knew my time had come to be the greatest duelist in the lands between.
Okay.
But it was a trick.
Oh no.
Marika had seen me ganking at the foot of her Erd tree, so she sent 3 elder lions to kick my ass. I was feeling some compassion for all those reds I killed. Now
No.
I knew what it felt like to get ganked.
No. This is Ganker's fake story. Ganker will never feel compassion. He will say that it's disgusting that him, the gamer, that utilizes in-game mechanics created by the Michael Zaki-san himself, the god gamer, literally him, actually now getting punished. This is unfair and this is clearly cheating, exploiting, and Marika deserves to be ganked in the future.
From that day forward, I was only doing fair fights. No rune arc, no flask, and no ganking.
Okay.
These invaders didn't want to fight. They just wanted to use me for target practice. Then they pulled out their little zippy zapper to finish me off. Kind of felt like
pointy.
payback, and I guess I deserved it. Well, I needed some guidance, so I headed off to the Boil Prawn Shack to join a fight club.
Fight Club.
And that's where I met my homies, Elden Jesus and Meatball Mikey. It got boring waiting around for invaders, so we'd just sit down at the Grace and listen to the preachings of Elden Jesus. When an invader finally showed up, half the time they didn't want anything to do with us. They said we were just camping, not making any progress.
Hey! Hey!
That's simultaneous, hey.
Well, I thought I was making progress getting better at PvP.
Truly a team play.
I eventually got some fights, but they weren't always that pleasant. These guys were coming up to me all wiggle walking, acting like they were tough. Decked out in heavy armor, using weapons I'd never seen before. Some of these guys were trying pretty damn hard to win. But at least I was getting practice. Winning wasn't everything. Just when I was ready to fight somebody new, the same guy would come wiggle walking right back up.
Hey!
That's when I learned that Tanner's tongue gets matchmaking priority over anyone who's not using it. He was going to keep coming back like a revolving door. He said he'd have to block me. I didn't want to get blocked. So I figured if I get the same guy twice, I'll turn it off for a little bit. Give him a chance to match with someone else.
Like, this is such a fucking bullshit story. No one ever that utilizes Tanner's tongue would think in such way. This is so fake. They would gladly take, like, priority in the queue and summon you to their world for 20 fucking times in a row, man. I cannot. But okay, let's go with it. Like, it is artistic vision, okay? It is an artistic vision of a Redditor. You gotta understand.
I had a hard time sleeping that night. I just kept thinking about how they said I wasn't making any progress. And to be honest, I was starting to forget that there was a big world out there beyond the shack. So in the morning, I made up my mind to leave. I hopped on my trusty steed and we took off for the mountains. And they were breathtaking, let me tell you. But I realized there was a problem with using Tanner's tongue out there in the open world. Invaders sometimes had a hard time finding me. The spawn points could be real shit. I was starting to get the idea that progress wasn't just about moving around. It was about getting shit done. And the best place to get shit done was in a dungeon.
Honestly,
So I set off for Stormvale Castle, where I met an invader by the name of Slippery Pete.
I just kind of, that made me realize that, yeah, probably, like, not in the Legacy dungeons, but legitimately in the dungeons. The dungeons are probably one of the best spots to Tanner's tongue in case if you want to be that, well, so-called bonfire duelist. Like, it is probably, like, the easiest way to essentially just get the fights. You usually have, like, some sort of the squarish areas with the boundaries and stuff. Actually, it's not a bad idea at all, honestly. Like, to be a bonfire duelist in such locations.
Slippery Pete didn't seem like he wanted to kill me. In fact, he wanted to be my friend. I'd never been friends with an invader before. This guy was showing me all sorts of stuff. I thought this could be the beginning of something beautiful. When I was fighting a Crucible Knight, I got a little nervous. I thought he might jump in and gank me. He was right there cheering me on, just like my old homies at the shack used to do. And after the fight, he dropped a warming stone to heal me up. Let me tell you, that warming stone warmed my heart. I finally had an invader friend, and I couldn't wait to see where we were going next.
Betrayal! And that's how
That
Ganker
doggone
was
Slippery
born.
Pete betrayed me, but I was not deterred.
Oh.
I kept crawling dungeons until one day I found my old Fight Club buddies, Elden Jesus and Meatball Mikey.
Beautiful names indeed.
Hey! Hey!
After I left the shack, they went out looking for me. And finally, the crew was back together. So just like the old days, we cracked open that Tanner's tongue. But this time, we weren't just sitting at a grace. We were making progress. And it was chaos. I had bubbles popping in my face. I saw an elevator move that shouldn't be moving. I go over to check it out and I get ambushed by some dude with a pizza cutter. Well, this was a whole new experience for me. And I fucking loved every second.
You're actually going through that, like, thing on top of elevator? Like,
sometimes
the
we'd still
bell?
have a traditional
beam?
duel.
Interesting.
But I had to be careful because the environment could get in
Brandon
the way.
podkreślenie Gao just subscribed. Glinquest
Sometimes
22 września
an enemy would wander into the
2024
fight.
roku.
Fighting in a dungeon
Thanks
wasn't as
for
predictable
the
as
sub.
fighting at the shack. But I kind of preferred it that way. Later on, I learned that if you only summon one phantom, you can get 2 reds.
Oh? I am so invested in this story, honestly. There is like nothing
These reds
I
can
want
be a
to
little
comment
goofy
on.
Sometimes.
I just
Sometimes
want
they
to watch.
forget they're red. And we'd have to gently remind them who they're supposed to be fighting. During a 2v2, you gotta keep checking your back, because you never know when it can turn into a free-for-all. When you're playing through a dungeon and a 2v2 breaks out, there's nothing like it. But that's only possible with the Tanner's tongue. If you don't have a phantom, you can use a hunter. But you gotta remember to turn off the white ring, because usually a second hunter will come faster than a second invader. That'll block you from getting a 2v2. Then you're just ganking. One day I was playing through Stormvale, and I saw what appeared to be a little green elf running in and out of the shadows. She hit me in the face with a bewitching branch, which I took to mean she wanted to be my friend. Now I was a little wary of being friends with invaders after that incident with Slippery Pete. But I didn't see any elevators around, so I thought I'd give her a chance.
They are showing the glitchy place. Yep.
She told me her name was Ficklesticks, and she asked me to take a seat. She asked why I was using Tanner's tongue. I said, I'm addicted to the action, Ficklesticks. She said she knew a guy who could show me some real action.
Oh?
Oh, well done.
Birth of an invader?
Indeed. You made it through that entire...
That's right, I'm a red just like you. But I still use that there Tanner tongue. It's not perfect, but there are some experiences you just can't have without it. And we're not all looking for the same experience. I do try to be considerate when I'm using the tongue. Ideally, I want everyone I play with to have a good time. Red, gold, or blue. But you're not going to please everyone. So at the end of the day, you gotta prioritize your own fun. And if you run into any reds who tell you you shouldn't be using Tanner's tongue, you tell them. Mean Mance is still out there somewhere. And I might just turn my Tanner's tongue on for you.
That's actually such a cool video, honestly. I was so invested throughout the vast majority of it. Oh. post-credit scene. Double grab, insane. Dude, I was so invested in that. I love it. So, like, this is a video made by someone called Mainmast, apparently. And yeah, like, it's on Bad Red Man subreddit. Pretty fun video indeed.